A foodie's delight. Tonight, we're taking you behind the scenes, spilling the secrets of your favorite treats and eats, from C's Candies, Jelly Belly Beans, and It's It ice cream to your more savory eats like Impossible Burger and Amy's Kitchen. Get ready for an all-access pass as we show you the process of how several Bay Area-made foods make it from the production lines to the store shelves. And good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Meeback, and welcome to our KTVU special, Made in the Bay, Let's Eat. We're going to begin with a company that has been a Bay Area staple for decades. Of course, we are talking about C's Candies. The free tasters, the classic black and white 1-pound boxes. Tradition, a very important word for this company. A company that started by a man using his mother's recipes, now home to about 2,000 employees. Average stay for an employee, 18 years. They don't offer public tours, but we were lucky enough to check out the operation inside a massive candy-making factory in South San Francisco. A chocolate lover's dream, a golden ticket into the C's Candies candy-making factory, home to a slow-rolling chocolate roller coaster, marzipan lined wall-to-wall, and a truffle room where a batch of tempered chocolate and nut dust is gracefully applied by hand on every single truffle. But you know what I noticed? Even in the box area, it smells like chocolate.
Oh my gosh.
Even though the boxes are empty.
It's tremendous. Yeah. So this is 200 yards from my desk, right? You know, I can't run enough miles. I've been a customer since I was a kid.
Pat Egan is the new president and CEO of C's Candies, headquartered in South San Francisco. And when he tells me to put the finishing touches on an orange bonbon, well, I give it a shot. You can just tell how different mine looks to the beautifully crafted other ones. The attention to detail is what Egan says separates C's from competition.
Pretty much everything that comes out of here, a human hand with a glove touches at some point in the process.
Why not have a robot? You could do so much more.
Because it would not, we wouldn't have the same flavor profile. We wouldn't have this, and it's part of our story. This is how we make it. These are skilled. These folks have been here for decades,
Artists.
Right? Artists, absolutely.
The company started back in 1921. Charles C's opens his first candy shop, selling his Mother Mary's delicious confections made from her own original recipes. In 1936, C's came to the Bay Area, opening its first store in San Francisco. And later in 1972, Warren Buffett purchased C's, making it part of the Berkshire Hathaway family. C's makes 27 million pounds of candy every year, much of it right here in this 200,000 square foot candy making factory.
This is where we store some more of the boxes. It's also where we have our raw materials. So everything from the chocolate sprinkles that go on a Bordeaux piece. Right. So those come from Guittard, which is one of our San Francisco partners. They're older than us, 152 or so years now.
Peanut butter, fruit pieces, all the fresh ingredients are stacked on pallets sky high.
Okay.
Cool little hand swipe. And this is what's called the goods and process room, a prep kitchen of sorts.
Everything that's going to go inside of a piece of chocolate or inside of a bonbon or something like that usually comes here first. So you can see it's temperature controlled, dehumidified, which is important in the Bay Area, of course. And so this is usually at least several days, if not a week ahead, so that the following week we're just good to go.
C's makes about 150 different pieces of candy, many centered around chocolate. And these large machines temper the chocolate in just minutes. The chocolate is then spread onto this massive water-chilled table. Ultimately, whether it's chocolate or another filling, it's then taken to this room where a machine slices it up.
This is a caramel almond center, it looks like. And so each one of those is ultimately getting cut, sliced vertically, I guess, and then kind of horizontally before it goes in to the roving process.
The production line is graced with dedicated employees who are eyeing each piece of tasteful treasure.
They're looking at it to make sure that it's right, the right size and everything else.
Because every now and then you may have a bad cut.
Potentially. We're making sure that it stands up right, that it's at the right temperature so that when the chocolate hits the piece and it's perfectly tempered, that it's just exactly as we want it.
And when this layer of chocolate hits the almond center chew, it's a beautiful sight. So too is the future, says Pat Egan. The company is about to celebrate 100 years.
A lot of our recipes are the original recipes for Mary C's, and that is great, and we're always going to keep that. But we know customer tastes are changing. They want a little bit more variance from C's as a place that they love to come and shop. So that centennial gives us such a great opportunity to introduce a whole new generation, a whole new set of customers.
All right, from C's, we now go to jelly beans. Today, Jelly Belly is the world's #1 gourmet jelly bean. The sugary treat is most popular during the Easter holiday, where the company manufactures 16 billion jelly beans alone. I toured the factory where more than 50 tasty flavors are created. How long does it actually take to make one bean? The answer may surprise you. Spinning in the air, bathing in sugar, flowing down a river of vibrant colors, the cycle of life for a single Jelly Belly jelly bean is a journey like no other. But before we can show you how it's all done, you got to look the part. So we got to grab the official Jelly Belly lab coat, the hairnet, and off we go. The Jelly Belly factory in Fairfield is a well-oiled machine cranking out 4 million beans a day. As I was pulling up here to the factory, I was asking myself, hey, Mike, how long does it actually take to make a Jelly Belly jelly bean? I figure most people work 8 hours a day, so I said, 8 to 10 hours for one bean. One bean, mind you. Well, I wasn't even close. Let me bring in the Jelly Belly master himself, Jeff Brown. Jeff, how long does it take to make one Jelly Belly jelly bean?
So one Jelly Belly jelly bean will take us 7 to 14 days.
7 to 14 days. I'm intrigued. Let's go find out how it's done. Big man on campus, Jeff Brown, has a big title, Vice President of Global Operations, and knows every step of the process. And with that, he took us to the kitchen.
This is where it all begins. This is where we make the center of the Jelly Belly jelly bean.
How do you do that?
So we do that. We're going to combine sugar, water, corn syrup, and some cornstarch. And we make a basic slurry, which is that center of the Jelly Belly bean.
Once they have that slurry, flavors are added, in this instance, blueberry. Once that kettle is done mixing, the slurry is then fed through stainless steel pipes to the floor below into a machine called a mogul. The mogul injects the hot slurry into shallow wooden trays with dry cornstarch, and just like that, the mold of the bean is formed. And then they get a sugar shower. This initial sugar layer prevents the Jelly Belly bean centers from sticking together. So at this point in the game, we're basically about halfway through the process of getting to that final product. Good place to call a timeout and tell you that Jelly Belly, well, wasn't always here. This wasn't home. To tell the story, we're going to take you back to the 1800s in the Midwest and a guy named Gustav. 1869, Belleville, Illinois. Gustav Golitz, right there in the front, foot on the barrel, opens a candy business. His sons take over in 1894 and specialize in candy corn. Fast forward 60 years, the third and fourth generations start cooking other candies, including jelly beans. And in 1976, Jelly Belly has its first 8 flavors: root beer, green apple, licorice, cream soda, lemon, tangerine, berry cherry, and grape. The company also makes some not-so-tasty flavors. They're called Bean Boozled jelly beans, and they're created in part right here inside a closed-off area to isolate the smell.
All right, here we go.
But what kind of flavors are made in here?
So, like today is dead fish, but we've also made spoiled milk, vomit, and dog food.
I'm good. Now back to the tasty beans. Once through that sugar bath, the beans are placed into larger trays with the help of a useful robot. Those trays are moved to a room known as the panning process. This process results in the soft shell we see on each bean. After another resting period, the nearly completed beans are placed into these giant stainless steel pans where they get one final coating and finished with glaze and beeswax to create the glossy finish we see in the end. White food coloring is then used to print the Jelly Belly name on each bean at a rate of 20,700 beans a minute. The beans then rest up in these brown boxes.
Those are now the official Jelly Belly bean, stamped, ready to go, and then we'll bring those back out to start to put into mixes and bags and boxes.
And this is how they mix. A beautiful display of colors and flavors, some 20 at a time, spun together, eventually dumped into a bag, sealed, and boxed.
The people here at Jelly Belly are wonderful. It's like family. From every position here. We have a lot of folks been here decades.
Jelly Belly does not disclose specific sales data, but the company says it sells about 15 billion jelly beans a year. Most popular flavor, berry cherry, followed by buttered popcorn. As for those smelly ones, which the company claims people actually love to buy, well, there's a few. and I had to taste them. Helping me do this is Jonna Stevens-Perry. Jonna, thanks for doing it.
Hi, thank you.
All right, what's number one here?
All right, so first up, this is our Bamboozle line. So we're gonna have some fun here.
Uh-oh.
Why don't you take a little taste of that?
Any warning?
Not really. You wanna guess?
You tell us.
It's stinky socks.
Stinky socks. Of course.
It got sweet first, and then you got a little bit of a
Had to
hit
give
at
me
the
stinky
end.
socks. One more.
One more.
Stinky socks, rotten eggs. You think this is funny?
Does that taste familiar at all? Might taste familiar. That's our dead fish. But here, let me make it up to you. This is gonna be okay. You might need that actually. That's toothpaste.
It is toothpaste.
It's a little better.
That's very nice. Good way to end it. Thanks, Jelly Belly. We'll see you around. Coming up, it's a sweet tooth dream, but how did It's It ice cream get its name? The story as unique as what goes into making the delicious ice cream sandwich. But first, a company hailed as a pioneer in the organic food industry. A look at one of the most famous recipes from Amy's Kitchen.
This is where San Francisco firefighters sharpen their life-saving skills, but it's shutting down.
Fox 2 News finds out whether your safety could be compromised.
The clock is ticking. What happens with us directly impacts the safety of San Francisco.
We don't want to practice on the public.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Monday on the 10 o'clock news on KTVU Fox 2.
We're overstocked, so it's clearance time at Hoot Judkins. It's your chance for amazing clearance savings on $1 million inventory of real wood furniture. Save up to 70% off living room, dining room, and bedroom furniture. And get up to 70% off bookcases, entertainment centers, and more. Help us make room, and we'll even pay your sales tax. Go to HootJudkins.com for even more clearance savings or stop by. Hoot Judkins, the wise choice for real wood furniture.
So how do we stop youth vaping? With Prop C, the toughest e-cigarette regulations in the country. Prop C requires ID scanning cash registers that verify buyers are 21 and over. Prop C bans e-cigarette marketing to youth. Prop C requires anti-nicotine education in San Francisco schools and keeps in place existing bans on flavored e-cigarettes. Stop youth vaping. Vote yes on C.
Good on you for sporting a look that moves without stretching your wallet. Now being comfortable is even easier with sport coats starting at $99.99, mix and match shirts and pants 3 for $99.99, plus get 60% off designer suits. Only at Men's Warehouse.
Can you guess
Howard Stern.
Jeff Goldblum. That's wrong.
who's behind the mask?
Oh my God!
The Masked Singer, Wednesday at 8 on Fox 2. The Fox 2 weather app is like your best friend's best friend.
Download the new KTVU Fox 2 weather app today. The power to prepare wherever you go.
Amy's Kitchen came from humble beginnings and has really exploded in size over the past 3 decades. Its factory in Santa Rosa makes about 250,000 meals a day. And we got the lucky ticket to get inside to see the magic behind its signature Thai red curry.
These are these soaked red chilies that we have specially grown for us for our red curry that bring a lot of flavor and depth to the product.
Once we have that ready, we bring it up to our kettle deck. Cook it with organic coconut milk and organic tamari and let that simmer until it's just the right consistency.
Fred Scarpula Jr., Vice President of Culinary at Amy's Kitchen, has mastered the Thai red curry recipe during his 22 years with the company, but he gives his staff all the credit.
This is Omar. Omar's been cooking up here on this kettle deck for 18 years now. After every sauce we make is ready, the cook and a quality assurance personnel will taste that sauce together and clear it to be used at the next step.
I'm going to do right now the pH, and then I'm going to make the viscosity to see how thick it is, the sauce. And then after all these tests, we call the cook and let it know it's good to release.
Adelena Gallardo is a quality assurance specialist. She ensures all products are up to the Amy's Kitchen standard.
I'm passionate to work doing this because I like, to taste, to see.
This year is her 25th anniversary with the company, and she is determined to bring the consumer complete taste satisfaction. Let's pause on the process and take you back to where it all began before the soups, burritos, and hearty bowls we all know and love. Founders Rachel and Andy Berliner cooked up Amy's Kitchen in their wine country farmhouse back in 1987. It's impossible to separate the birth of Amy's Kitchen from the birth of their daughter, Amy.
When Rachel was pregnant with Amy, she was about her 7th month of pregnancy. She strained a muscle, and the doctor said basically, stay off your feet as much as possible. So she asked me to cook dinner.
He had never really cooked before.
I still haven't.
Andy went looking for ready-made meals at their natural grocery store, and when he could not find anything organic and vegetarian that satisfied their taste buds, they decided to make their own. The first dish Andy and Rachel created was a pot pie. While Rachel and Andy were giving life to a new business, they welcomed their baby girl to the world and gave her the name Amy, which then took shape as the name of their new company.
The name Amy's came from Rachel's mom because she said, you're doing this for her to provide income and education and all that, so why not name the company after her?
We always felt it was a magical name, Amy. It just, people loved it. And actually, when they meet me, they always say, are you Amy? And they're so disappointed when I'm not.
In May of 1991, with their Sonoma kitchen up and running, the Berliners were able to add a few more items to the menu. They started making burritos and mac and cheese, and a few years later, the first hand-stretched pizza. Today, Amy's Kitchen is credited with being a pioneer in organic frozen foods, and Rachel says it all goes back to her youth.
That was how I was raised. I rebelled for a while and went next door and had peanut butter, creamy white bread, and do all those things like kids do. But then as I grew older, it was part of my way of being.
And it shows with the organic foods Rachel and Andy use in their products, like Amy's famous Thai red curry, which on our trip to the factory is now fixing to hit the production line.
We add organic jasmine rice, organic broccoli, organic butternut squash, organic carrots and green beans.
And then the yummy red Thai curry sauce. The meal then goes through a blast freezer, is sealed with a plastic cover and onto packaging that you see in the grocery store. It's then boxed up and put into a freezer for distribution. The magic of Amy's can always be found in the food, but it's also apparent in the relationship between owners Andy and Rachel and their employees, who could not imagine working anywhere else.
The owner is amazing. For me, it's we think it is part of the family.
It's just our nature that our employees were part of our family. We wouldn't exist without them. We owe them so much.
We love them. They're the heart of the company.
And now to the peninsula and an ice cream sandwich called It's It. How did it get its name? Well, as the story goes, a San Franciscan named George Whitney took a scoop of vanilla, placed it between 2 oatmeal cookies, dipped it right into chocolate, took a bite, and said in celebration, it's it. Today, they're made in Burlingame. No public tours are given, but we were lucky enough to get the invite and say hello. A small factory on a small street in Burlingame, quiet on the outside, but on the inside, there's a lot of noise.
Can't get wrong with cookies, ice cream, chocolate.
It's it. A Bay Area classic. Ice cream, cookies, chocolate, and a hairnet for quality control. This is the epicenter right here. This is where it all happens?
Exactly.
Charlie Shamia is president of It's It, a company owned by 3 families. He's a busy man who on this day gives us a flavor of the factory.
The process for making this is start by getting the milk and the cream from the local farms.
4,000 gallons of cream and milk pumped right into a silo and then into a pasteurizer.
We have to cook it for 165 degrees and leave it for 45 minutes.
After, the liquid goes into a piece of equipment called a homogenizer, only to be shipped off to large tanks where for 24 hours it mixes with the flavor of the day, and in this case, it's vanilla.
Can I take a dip and lick it or no? No.
Sorry.
I tried. And I'll try again later, but first, 1928 San Francisco, George Whitney creates the It's It and sells it exclusively for decades at Playland, the old amusement park that once stood along Ocean Beach. It wasn't until the 1970s, under new ownership, inside a larger facility where they currently are today, that It's It started to explode. And now back to the process we go.
So we followed the white pipes, and now we're here.
We're here. That's where the ice cream is being made.
Charlie calls it the ice cream machine. Once it's made, now the fun part. 2 oatmeal cookies are dropped. The ice cream flows right through a nozzle. It's then sliced. 2 more cookies are placed on top, and a tapper taps it all together.
How many its do you guys make a day?
We can do about 100,000 a day. 100,000, 105,000.
And is it 24/7 in here? A 24/7 operation?
We have 2 shifts.
Once it gets tapped, then the It's It rolls right through a freezing cold tunnel for about 35 minutes before making its entrance to the chocolate fountain. And because the ice cream sandwich is so bitter cold at this moment in the process, the chocolate settles right on it as it makes its way to packaging.
So Charlie tells me that the company sells 15 to 20 million units a year. Now, before they ship them, they got to store them, and they do that right here. The only problem is it's 15 degrees right now. So I'm done talking.
In a warmer part of the building, stacks of It's It are rolled onto trucks. Destination, mostly western states.
Yeah, we got a nice crew. Over the years, we've got some automated systems, but we've had a nice crew for a long time, and they're the ones who kind of get us to where we need to be.
The 91-year-old company just launched a new product, Nuggets, small bites of vanilla ice cream covered in chocolate along with broken up pieces of sugar cones.
You could easily be addicted to these. You kind of have to put the whole bucket down.
Yeah, right. But for now, the focus remains on this. Vanilla came first, then mint, then chocolate, and now a few others. Charlie Shamia says the family-run Bay Area classic is sticking around.
Do you eat one a day?
Not one a day. I eat maybe one a week. But I miss them more when I leave town for 2 weeks, then all of a sudden I want one a day.
There was a version that I bit into and was like, wow, this is game changer.
Coming up, you're going to see them everywhere, those Impossible Burgers, but what's in them? And are they a healthier option compared to beef burgers? We'll have the answers.
Say hello to savings at your California Ford dealers. Our hottest summer offers have just been extended. Hurry in now while the savings last. Drive home F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months or get F-150 with $6,500 total cash.
The trade-in sale. Free pickup of your old furniture.
Lazy Boy. Live life comfortably.
With Honda sensing safety features to keep an eye on every turn and Apple CarPlay to help her find her way, families rely on Honda Civic. Right now, you can get a great deal on a new Civic, but it'll be gone in a flash.
From the 5 a.m. wakers to the 6 a.m. sleepers, everyone uses their phone differently and in different places. That's why Xfinity Mobile created a wireless network that auto-connects you to millions of secure Wi-Fi hotspots and the best LTE everywhere else. Xfinity Mobile is a different kind of wireless network designed to save you money. Save up to $400 a year on your wireless bill. Plus, get $250 back when you buy an eligible phone. Click, call, or visit a store today.
Say hello to savings at your California Ford dealers. Our hottest summer offers have just been extended. Hurry in now while the savings last. Drive home Ranger with 0% financing for 60 months plus $2,500 total bonus cash.
Impossible Foods took everything we know and love about meat and created a plant-based burger. And we were given a look inside the lab where it's all done. It sizzles, it smokes, it's juicy. It's the Impossible Burger version 2.0 from Impossible Foods, and
it was born here.
In a big white rectangular lab in Redwood City.
There was a version that I bit into and was like, wow, this is game changer.
She's Celeste Hull-Schittinger, Director of Research and Development at Impossible.
We got a better process to how to do it.
She studied biochemistry at UC Santa Barbara and was hired on by Impossible when she was in grad school back in 2012. You were one of the first 10 employees.
Yes.
Was it hard to buy into the idea of what was going on here, or were you...
I was pretty much in.
The challenge? Create a plant-based burger that smells and tastes just like beef. The first goal, to find the ingredients.
We call this our bubble, but inside of this, we have instruments that are working much like our nose.
Inside the bubble, this instrument has one job: identify molecules associated with aroma, with flavor. Of all the steps, I mean, this is kind of the first and foremost.
Yes.
Okay.
What is meat, and what are those flavors, and then how do we find plant ingredients that make those same flavors?
The biggest discovery along the way, heme. It's an essential molecule found in every living plant and animal, and it's what makes meat taste like meat. Scientists at Impossible used heme-containing protein from the roots of soy plants and inserted it into a genetically engineered yeast. They ferment the yeast, but instead of producing alcohol, the yeast multiply and produce a lot of heme.
That is our yeast that is growing up. That yeast, as it grows, it produces our heme protein, the like hemoglobin that we identified creates the flavor of meat.
So we have the flavor, but now we need the texture.
I knew they were onto something and I had to be involved.
And inside the test kitchen, how many hours do you spend in the kitchen?
I couldn't even count.
We meet the head of culinary, Chef J. Michael Melton, who introduces us to the other key ingredients. We start with the protein. Right here, what looks like dry cereal is actually soy protein.
Think about us producing this on a large scale. It's sort of like a large KitchenAid mixer, so to speak. So we first hydrate it with a little bit of water, and we'll add some potato protein. So the potato protein actually adds some malleability to the product in its raw state, and upon cooking our product, it helps to bind to the water and help that soy protein create that texture and chew.
Next, we mix in all the important heme, providing that flavor, then some cellulose, then some sunflower oil and coconut fat. Those provide the sizzle on the grill or pan. So just like that, now we have the product, and with the magic of TV, we can start cooking it.
The visual cues are going to give you that familiar time to turn, so to speak. It's going to pool that rich red color.
3 sliders, one with my name on it, little lettuce, tomato, time to take a bite. Explain your first bite, too, while I take mine.
You know, it was with 1.0, and I got to say the difference between 1.0 and 2.0 is drastically different, but still impressive. Again, the reason that I came to this company was after trying 1.0. So glad to be working on a product like this and sharing it with the world.
2.0 is so good, I'm going to do a second bite. Healthier? A bit. A 4-ounce Impossible Burger 2.0 patty is about 240 calories. A 4-ounce ground beef patty ranges from about 250 to 300 calories, depending on the fat content. Scientists say the Impossible Burger also contains less cholesterol, sodium, and fat compared to beef.
And sustainability is really, that's my passion. And my background in biochemistry makes me kind of primed to be able to solve these problems.
And you said a key word there, and that is sustainability. Exactly. You know, this isn't necessarily about making a burger that's healthier for you. This is a wider picture.
This is a wider picture. How do we as humans live more sustainably with this earth? And we think the best way to do that and provide a solution is to create tasty meat, that the consumer gets to make the choice. What do you want to eat? Do you want to eat something that is delicious, nutritious, and sustainable?
The simplicity of the ingredients allows them to mass produce, and they are. The staff has tripled in size at this plant in Oakland, and with the Impossible Burger coming to grocery stores, the company also struck a deal with OSI Group, a large meat manufacturer, which should help grow its production.
It really handled just like meat. It cooked like meat, it sizzled like meat. You could grill it, you could put it in tomato sauce, you could put it in every single application.
In the end, for Celeste, for Chef, they only ask one thing, something I often tell my children: just try it.
Take a bite. Don't be scared to have that sensory experience and judge it for what it is.
Tastes great, looks great, smells great.
Hey, we're trying to create
an Impossible Burger, and it's a burger.
It's uncompromisingly delicious. We know that we can't do our mission without making it delicious, so that's what we're trying to offer all those meat lovers out there.
Chef, great job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And a big thank you to all the companies for opening up their doors for all of us here at KTVU. I'm Mike Meback. Thanks for joining us for our special Made in the Bay. Let's eat.